Hey everybody, my name is Richard and welcome to our new YouTube channel here in Jupiter, Florida. Our goal is going to be to bring you some good quality content of the storage unit that we're doing the shoot in here, and then also some of the vehicles that I purchased over the years, which we'll take a look at here shortly. We're also going to be doing some rolling shots, some in-car camera shots, and then we're also going to take you to some of the local service shops and give you an opportunity to see those shops. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to my good friend RichardMasonHughes, who is going to help me with the YouTube channel and the Instagram page and move forward with all that stuff for you guys. So with that, let me introduce Richard. And Richard, you want to tell us a little something about yourself and how we met?
Thanks for having me first and foremost. So I'm RichardMasonHughes. I'm a local photographer and video guy here in Florida. I've been working in the automotive industry for about, I'd say 10 to 12 years now. I met Richard through a mutual client of ours, K2 Motor Cars. You know, he pulled up in, was it the 914? I thought the car was really cool because it's the first guy I've ever seen with a car on slicks. He asked me to come by to take some shots of this amazing place. And fast forward, now here I am in his YouTube video to help kind of keep this thing streamlined, if you want to know my purpose. So I'm going to be asking him a few questions so to introduce him, the cars, and kind of get everything going. And, you know, you'll see me from time to time in the videos and behind the camera. So with that being said, when did you purchase your first Porsche?
I purchased my first Porsche in April of 1973 at Bob Smith Porsche Audi in Hollywood, California. And I was 20 years old when I made the purchase.
You guys doing the math on that? Does he look like he's that old? He doesn't. I can call him an old man because it just doesn't make sense because he...
Well, I am old compared to Richard. So.
Right, you bought it at 20 and you've had it for
51 years. I still have the vehicle, original owner, and we'll show you in a couple of minutes. And so 51 years of ownership.
So the 73, did
Yes.
you do any modifications to that car while you owned it?
Yes, actually in 1986, I moved down to San Diego from LA. And she was in storage for about 5 years. And another girlfriend at the time said, well, look, you made some good money in the film industry, you made some good money in the equity markets. Why don't you go enjoy the ride and put her back on the road? And so with that, decided to do some modifications. I wanted a little more horsepower. So with the help of Alan Johnson Racing in San Diego, we came in and installed 1973 OEM steel RS flares for a little wider body in the rear. Came in with a little bigger wheel and tire package. We did a motor upgrade because the original motor had about 115,000 miles on her. She was kind of tired and leaking quite a bit. So we put a 1986 3.2 liter motor in the car, which gave me enough of the horsepower that I needed to go do some autocross and some time trials.
So is that how you got started in racing?
Not with the 73, because the 73 really didn't have the horsepower. It was not really a track car for that application. So I think it was in 1993, I actually went and purchased another 1973 911T Coupe. And with the help of Alan Johnson Racing again, we came in and we completely stripped the car down and built an RSR Tribute, Mexico Blue. And we did some wheel modifications, some flares, big horsepower, big wheels and tires. And actually the motor that we put in the car was a 3.2 high butterfly slide valve twin plugged motor. She was probably producing about 330, 340 horsepower on about a 2,000 pound vehicle. And that was my conduit that I got more involved with the POC, the Porsche Owners Club up in Los Angeles, and did more time trials up at Willow Springs Raceway in the upper deserts of Los Angeles, and did a little bit of club racing with the RSR Tribute. But then from that point, my passion for Porsche really, kind of took off at that point, and actually went and purchased a factory 1994 964 factory 3.8 liter Carrera RSR. And that was really the conduit and the vehicle that gave me the opportunity to really get more in depth in racing, amateur racing and professional racing. So technically with the 964, with the help of my friend Greg Mahone out of Los Angeles, I purchased a Ford extra duty van, had a 23-foot trailer, and actually went around the country with the PCA, the Porsche Club of America. They had a club racing series that they had been putting on for years. So with that, we kind of crisscrossed the country. We we raced at Sebring, rode Atlanta, rode America, Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, Kansas Heartland, Portland International, and Phoenix International. And so we didn't run a full season, but we ran enough races that really kind of my passion for driving just really took off from that point, and decided that I wanted to do some pro racing as opposed to the amateur racing. And I started my own business, which was ARE, which stood for a racing enterprise. And with that, I did 3 pro races in California. We did with IMSA, we did Laguna Seca, we did Portland, Portland International, and Phoenix International were the 3 pro races that I did. And I was really kind of surprised at how well I did. And from that point then, I decided, well, I think what I want to do is go rent a seat at the 24 Hours of Daytona. And I found a seat with Larry Schumacher out of Ohio. He had a 1994 factory cup car. And ran the 24 Hours of Daytona. I can't remember quite how we finished. I think we finished 27th or 28th overall, but it was just an amazing experience for me. So with that, I kind of got the bug and decided that the following year I was going to take the 964 RSR and with the team, and we were going to run our own privateer effort at the 24 Hours of Daytona. And in all actuality, after 24 hours, we finished 6th overall and 2nd in class with a group of volunteers from the PCA in San Diego and the Porsche Owners Club out of Los Angeles. And it was kind of interesting because as we were moving up the leaderboard, the commentators, the TV commentators kept saying, well, a bunch of volunteers from California are moving up the leaderboard. This is just something. And so with that, there's a lot more history to my experience racing professionally. And as we move forward with some more YouTube videos, we get a little more in depth of the history of racing Porsches.
That'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be cool. So speaking of memorabilia and everything, now that bring it back to this man cave, tell me more about this place and some of the cars you've bought.
Well, coming full circle, to back up just a quick minute, but it was in 2000 that as a privateer, it kind of got difficult for me to continue to campaign the cars, and so I decided to liquidate the assets of the vehicles. And at that time, in 2000, I got a phone call from a friend who I'd been at the track with many times. We knew of each other, we knew of the accomplishments that we achieved over that period of time, and Roger called me and said he's starting a new race shop and would I like to move to Florida and come help manage and set up his new shop. So I came here to Florida, we did an interview, I loved the area, and decided to move here, took on the job. So basically came and worked for Roger and helped begin a race shop for him. And that's how I actually came to Florida. So I worked for Roger for a short period of time, then actually got involved, and we'll come full circle to the cave here, but just a little background. When I came to Florida and after working in the race business, I did do a couple of side jobs for a couple of Porsche teams for a couple of years, but then from that point, I was always into cycling and bicycles, and so I got a job at one of the local bicycle shops and co-managed one of the shops here in Jupiter for, I believe, 10 or 11 years. And then from that point, I left, decided to retire from the bicycle business and decided to purchase a little storage unit here. So in 2015, purchased the unit that we're sitting in right now. She's about 3,500 square feet. And as we move forward, we'll move over into the other room and you'll see a little difference here. But that was what my goal was, is try and set up something that could kind of entertain people, kind of like a man cave setup. So I've set it up in a manner that if one comes in and takes a look at the unit, it's going to take you quite a while in order to see everything that's in here, all the different car memorabilia, a lot to look at.
Cool place, but I think we have some cars we need to show some.
Yes, most definitely. So that be the case, then I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move into the other room and show you what's in the other room.
So you guys make sure. We have a lot of cars, we got a lot going on. He has a lot going on. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So make sure you subscribe, like.
Hit that subscription button.
There you go. And so you can keep up to date what we have going on, because this is just the beginning. So you want to head
with that,
there?
Let's head on over. Well, here we are.
Yep. The real cars.
Into the big room, yeah.
So where do you want to start?
I say let's go ahead and start with the Spider over there. Yeah.
718 Spider. Car I know the least much about that you own.
She's a 2022 718 Spider, 6-speed manual, about 440 horsepower OEM. She's running a 4-liter flat 6 Boxster engine. and she's got about 535 miles on her, and I've had her for about 2.5 years.
Brand new.
Yeah, pretty much brand new. Yep.
So the 914, this was
Yes.
the car Richard pulled up in at K2 that I saw, and I had to talk to him about it. I mean, who pulls up on slick something? Like, it just never happens. You only see that at the track. So I had to ask him what the deal was about this car, and come to find out, it's actually pretty unique. It's not a normal 914, so break it down for me.
Yep, not a normal 914. 1973. I've had the second owner, made the purchase in 1991, so she's 33 years old. Black on black, 47,000 original miles on her, and she is a fairly unique 914. She actually is a 914-6. So typically for 1973, the 914 was a 2-liter 4-cylinder, but this actually has a 6-cylinder carbureted Weber 40 IDA. So very, very different than what the normal 73s typically were. A lot of little subtle modifications to the car that really makes it a very unique and very rare car. And as we move forward in the future, we'll certainly talk a little more about the details. She is a 5-speed manual, and the motor is a 2.7 liter, spec to a 2.7 liter.
Away from the Porsches for a second, because you got some
yeah.
other manufacturers.
Yeah.
Tell me about this beautiful car right here.
Well, 2012 C63 AMG Black Series. I was very, very lucky and fortunate to be able to secure one of these vehicles. And she's got about 2012, so I've had her for 12 years, and she's got about 1,800 miles on her. So not a daily driver, a collectible item for me. And she's got some modifications. Rentec, who is the local Mercedes-Benz modification shop up in Stewart right now. A lot of little subtle modifications to the motor that we'll certainly talk about as we move forward.
Cool. Now we're gonna skip this. Another Mercedes really quick.
Yeah, other Mercedes, once again, a 2012 E550. So both are 2012, both 12 years old. And this E550, once again, has got some Rentec modifications, actually quite a few modifications to her that would probably make her one of the only cars in the country with all the changes that have been made to the vehicle, such as K&N adjustable shocks, AMG brakes, 6-piston caliper, 13.5 rotor in the front, 4-piston in the rear, 11.5 cross-drilled rotor in the rear, and again, a lot of subtle modifications, kind of a special little car.
It's your own version of an AMG pretty much, right?
Why this car specifically wasn't a project for AMG.
Right.
So, but I made her like an AMG.
There you go. So, the American, the muscles.
Yeah.
Tell us about these two here.
Yeah, this was a difficult one for me because, as you can see, I wear the Porsche emblem over my heart. Most people maybe wear the American flag over their heart, where I wear the Porsche German emblem over my heart. And a lot of my friends, when I purchased the Corvettes, they said, well, it's kind of sacrilegious. You're kind of a German guy. You like German cars, so why are you purchasing American-made cars? Well, 2015 Z06 650 supercharged V8 horsepower for $65,000. So I mean, where else
can't
are you
beat
gonna
that
find-
bargain.
Yeah, 650 horsepower. So I just had to do it. She's got 1,000 miles on her. That's it. So again, not a daily driver, more of a collectible. The other Corvette, 2019 ZR1 750 supercharged V8 horsepower. And as most people know, they've seen these vehicles around quite a bit. She's only got 640 miles on her after 5 years, and a super fast 7-speed manual, super fast car. So.
Good. Manual for the win. I'm glad a lot of your cars are.
No, they got to be manuals, and certainly all the late model cars are the automatic with the PDKs. But I'm old school, as you can see with the old Porsches. So whenever I can get a manual transmission, I'm good with that.
Good. Save the manuals. All right. So let's get into the details of some cars that we have on our T-shirts here. So the main two of this whole situation that got us here to begin with. Tell us more. The 2023?
Yeah, 2023. And then the vehicle that we were talking about, the 1973, the one that I am the original owner of. And 50 years later, I purchased the 2023 in a paint to sample with Porsche paint to sample, a PTS, in the sepia brown, same color theme as the 73. Basically what my goal was is to do something as a 50-year anniversary, so 73 to 23, and I'm gonna have to take a guess and assume that I could be one of the only people in the world that is the original owner of a 73 in sepia brown Targa, and 50 years later, a 2023 sepia brown Targa.
Cool.
So how about that?
That is cool. So, yeah, check the shirts.
Shirts.
We'll be working on merch because people have been harassing me and Richard ever since these shirts have been worn.
And the hats.
We'll figure something out. We got the hats and everything, so don't worry about that. The last two cars.
Last two cars, 73s again. For me, 1973 was a really special year, and as we move forward with the YouTube channels, we'll certainly talk more about why it is that 1973 for me kind of stands out. What we're looking at here is a 1973 911E sunroof, black on black. I'm the second owner, and she does have about 150,000 miles on her, so she certainly has got some drive time with her. She is running a 2.7 liter mechanically fuel-injected motor. The silver car next to her, is also a 1973 911S Coupe. This is, as you see it sitting right now, this is pretty much as she would be right off the showroom. She's got 74,000 original miles to her, and a 2.4 liter MFI mechanically fuel-injected motor. Very sweet little car, classic style car. Interior's all original, dashboard, carpet, seat, steering wheel, all original. And again, as we move forward, we'll talk a little more about each of the cars separately. So having said all of that and all that you see here, again, our goal is to move forward, give you as good a quality content as we can as we move forward with our YouTube programs. And remember that we need to
like, subscribe, share, the whole shebang.
If you like what you see, folks. Yes. And other than that, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.